Home video game consoles have a storied history in terms of financial and critical success. Some rise to prominence like the Super Nintendo, and some fade away like the Dreamcast. Welcome to Episode 2 of Tales of Video Game Fails, where we take a brief look into the parts of the history of gaming that didn't exactly live up to expectations. In this episode, we take a look back at Atari's home console swan song, the Jaguar.
What the heck is going on here?
In 1993, while Japan-based companies Nintendo and Sega were battling it out for control of the 16-bit home console market in the US, domestic video game legend Atari decided to enter the fray with their latest hardware creation, the 64-bit Jaguar. The Jaguar hit US shelves for limited release in 1993, and was launched on a more wide scale in early 1994. The cartridge-based system came packaged with a power supply, RF cable, and one controller. Besides the packed-in copy of Cybermorph, buyers only had one other game to purchase at launch time, Trevor McFur in the Crescent Galaxy, with a port of arcade shooter Raiden soon to follow. Early adopters of the Jaguar would have to wait months for more titles to be released. Jaguar's main selling point was its claim that it was 64-bit. Their advertisement campaign instructed consumers to do the math in an attempt to prove the superiority of the Jaguar over the 16-bit SNES and Genesis and the 32-bit 3DO.
Jaguar! Jaguar! Jaguar!
These companies did not take to Atari's hardball-style ads and fired back with editorial submissions to gaming magazines and other tech outlets. Trip Hawkins, founder of 3DO, notably said, "It's only because of an ambiguity in the law that they can even say 64-bit without having to explain what they mean." This comment did not sit well with Atari's vice president Bill Reebok, and one of video game industry's first public feuds was in full swing for all to see across several tech publications. Eventually, a few third-party developers came through for the Jaguar with titles such as Tempest 2000, Doom, and Wolfenstein 3D. These games pushed the limit of the Jaguar and proved that the platform still had some potential. One of the most successful games added to the Jaguar's library was Alien vs. Predator, a first-person shooter where you could choose to play as a Marine, an alien, or a Predator, with each character having their own campaign. For the first time, the Jaguar had an exclusive hit. This success was short-lived, however, as the release of the Sega Saturn and the Sony PlayStation meant the Jaguar no longer had the tech edge on the competition, causing sales to take a dive. Even though the Jaguar suffered from low sales and large price cuts, Atari tried one last-ditch effort to stay relevant by releasing the Jaguar CD in time for Christmas 1995. Unlike the CD unit that Sega had put out for its Genesis, the Jaguar's was remarkably easy to install, plugging directly into the game slot on top of the system. Unfortunately, these units suffered from a high failure rate, leaving very few operational units today. They made only one 20,000 unit run of the Jaguar CD before the plug was pulled completely on the Atari Jaguar. The only games publicly released for the CD unit were initial release titles which were either ports of existing games or lackluster titles like Baldi's and Blue Lightning. The abrupt ending to the system left a lot of projects dead halfway through development, such as Commander Blood and even other peripherals like a VR headset with infrared head tracking and a high-speed voice modem. Although the system was no longer in production, Atari had quite a large amount of units on hand and began liquidating them through retailers such as KB Toys for $20 each, along with the remaining game stock at $10. In spite of this end of production for the system, the Jaguar was still far from dead. In the late 1990s, toy manufacturer Hasbro acquired the property rights to Atari and released the rights to the Jaguar, declaring the console an open platform and opening the doors for homebrew development. This caused a few of Atari's previous developers to come back and complete some unfinished material as well as several new titles. Hasbro also sold off all the injection molds of the Jaguar console to a dental company, and so it lives on as a dental camera. Take a look around your doctor's office next time and you might be able to spot one. Home consoles aren't the only platforms to have failed. Next time on Tales of Video Game Fails, we look at Nintendo's attempt at bringing 3D to the portable gaming space with the Virtual Boy.